I am overanalyzing the life out of this signing, which tells me this is where I need to be. Nick Pivetta. The Nick Pivetta who turned down the qualifying offer from the Red Sox and then essentially was sent to free agency penitentiary has finally signed a deal with the San Diego Padres that the way the numbers fall is fascinating. Tons of credit to AJ Preller for seeking this out and getting this deal done in a manner that keeps the San Diego Padres in somewhat of a comfort financial situation. But what could it mean for Michael King or Dylan Cease? This is where I'm overanalyzing it. Or should we just be excited that the San Diego Padres rotation is better now? But will it remain better for long? So many potential dominoes to this, on top of the fact that Nick Pivetta, I'm sorry, Nick, to bring this up, is going to now take 2 years to basically make what he could have in 1 year if he just accepted the qualifying offer. You remember earlier in the offseason, talk about, and even Jeff Passan brought it up in his recent article, talk about how teams loved his stuff, the advanced metrics, this and that and this and that. Well, they didn't love it enough because this man's going to make $4 million this year, and then he'll make 18, 19 million next year, and then he can opt out and maybe be in a better spot. I had argued that it made sense for him to just say, screw all of you. I am going to wait until the draft is over. Sign me in July. We'll create a bidding war. He could have made more. He could have made more. Now, he wanted to pitch, so credit to him. But I got to think. You get past the qualifying offer stuff, you get into July, you get into teams that are looking to improve their rotation, that are looking to go for it, that need another piece. He could have made more if he had waited, maybe something in the neighborhood of $10 million if he signed in July for the rest of the year, and then enter the market next year with a wide open playing field, a wide open landscape, teams coming left and right with those advanced metrics and no qualifying offer attached to them. So let's go through this thing again. Here's how the financials break out according to Jeff Passan. It is a 4-year, $55 million contract, but the way it's structured is he gets the opt-out after year 2 and year 3. He gets a $3 million signing bonus, which is applied right now, and a $1 million salary for 2025. The San Diego Padres have 2 starting pitchers with a $1 million salary. Michael King, the way his contract was structured after the whole the arbitration process, he's making $1 million. Nick Pivetta's making $1 million. I mean, if this was 1980, it would be like, hey, $1 million payroll. So let me get back on track here. Like I said, a lot of thoughts. It's just racing right now. So he gets the $1 million in 2025 on top of the $3 million signing bonus. So that's $19 million in 2026. That is locked in. And then the $14 million and the $18 million, which unless he goes into the tank and those metrics reverse, he's not going to see that. He's going to re-enter the market and try to get a significant payday after the 2026 season. But this does set the Padres up nicely because that's another element looming here is that King and Cease are both free agents at the end of the year. Next year's rotation, Padres fans, let's say Cease and King are gone. You get Joe Musgrove back, you get Nick Pivetta, and you have Yu Darvish. So it sets things up for next year as well. In his recent piece yesterday or 2 days ago, depending on if you're seeing this on Thursday, Jeff Passan set us up for this. Who's the best free agent pitcher available? Right-hander Nick Pivetta radiates talent, and teams' pitching models adore his stuff. Just, again, not enough to pay the qualifying offer penalty. Teams in need of more starting pitching, the Guardians, the Padres, and Boston. Now, I blew smoke at the whole Padres thing because of the money, because I did not see Nick Pivetta signing a $1 million contract with a $3 million signing bonus. I didn't see that coming. Shame on me. But again, all the credit to A.J. Preller for going out, seeking this out, and getting a deal done. Talk about financial creativity. If Scott Boras and Alex Bregman could only have some of that creativity, maybe Alex Bregman would be reporting to spring training right now. I'm getting sidetracked again. I apologize. So, again, the rotation. This San Diego Padres team, I argue, is too invested in this upcoming season to blow it up. Harold Reynolds is on Hot Stove on Monday morning or Tuesday morning, whatever morning it was, talking about how the Padres need to trade Cease and King. And because the money situation and it's disappointing and all this and all that, but I argue you can't do that. You absolutely cannot do that when your payroll is not only over $200 million, but it's also over the first luxury tax threshold. After the $1 million signing, we're looking at about $246 million on the books for this upcoming season. And let's say the season goes to hell. All you got to do is get under that 241 before they close the books at the end of the year. So at this point, they're still within reach of, if they need to, making some trades in July and getting underneath that luxury tax level. So they're fine. It's why you got to get creative, because if you get too far away from that number, then it's hard to get back underneath it if the season goes to hell. But with Cease, King, Darvish, and Pivetta now, this rotation looks a lot better. It looks like something that can compete. And if you can get a bounce back from Xander Bogaerts, you get Fernando Tatis to go to a Fernando Tatis level that we've seen in the past. If Manny Machado does his thing, if Jackson Merrill, the pride of Severna Park, Maryland, does his thing, then the San Diego team will compete. And with the money they have invested in this year, that is a must. However, we go back to what Jeff Passan had talked about, bringing up the Padres, the Guardians, and the Red Sox, but he went on further in this article and talked about how Pivetta, for example, could free up the Padres to move either Dylan Cease or Michael King, both right-handers set to hit free agency after the season. You get to the point where the only reason you run through the entirety of the 2025 season with Cease and King is if you are going for it. That's the only reason why you let them walk, is if you are in contention and you need them to stay in contention and continue the climb. If it falls apart, then you have to trade them. But you don't have to trade them now. You have to trade them in July when everything's gone sideways. So the Harold Reynolds thing, you can't do it. And even here, so he says King is far likely to be dealt according to sources, and we can see that in how they structured his money. But Dylan Cease is $13.75 million. Do they want to get under that first luxury tax apron, threshold, barrier, whatever you want to call it, before the season starts? Maybe free them up to try to add another piece? I mean, they could probably trade Dylan Cease and then go sign somebody like Andrew Heaney or Spencer Turnbull or Jose Quintana, and that would still put together a pretty decent rotation. Certainly not as good, but is that the next domino to fall? Do the San Diego Padres view that $13.75 million as too much, and this Nick Pivetta signing is setting up the dominoes to move Dylan Cease between now and opening day? Because you won't do it once the season starts. If the offers are there now, you can do it. But what we have heard A.J. Preller wants in return for Dylan Cease is insane. The package that he wants from the Orioles, the package that he wants from the Mets, he wants their top prospects. He wants the Orioles, or he wants the Mets to pay more for Dylan Cease now than AJ paid for him a year ago, when there was another year of control and less innings on the arm, which is, AJ, I give you credit for the Nick Pivetta deal, but you're smoking something to think you're going to get more for Dylan Cease now than you did, or than you gave up a year ago. We think about teams that could use him because there certainly are. I mean, again, the Mets and the Orioles. Though the Orioles, do you want to run back a potential one and done again? You just got burned by Corbin Burns. Do you want to run it back and experience that again with Dylan Cease? I don't think you do. But there are definitely teams that have higher aspirations that still need to add to their rotation. The Angels are a team that could add. The New York Mets, if they decide that this is a piece that they need, they could go and get it. The farm system is strong enough to absorb it. The package needs to be adjusted. There are definitely some teams. Would the Cubs go for it? Are there other teams out there in your mind? I mean, those are just some of the teams that kind of jump to the forefront as teams that have some pretty lofty expectations or raising their expectations and could still use starting pitching. He would be the SP1 for the Angels. And the Angels don't have one. The Angels really have a bunch of 3s and 4s masquerading as a 1 through 5 right now. The New York Mets, there's been tons of trade rumors. Would you do that? The San Francisco Giants are in a very interesting situation. They're division rivals, but when I think about the San Francisco Giants, Robbie Ray and Justin Verlander, look, if they deal with injuries, if Verlander's dealing with old age, I mean, the Giants season could really be impacted negatively if Ray and Verlander have any issues, because after that, there's a lot of inexperience and a lot of youth that would have to step up for San Francisco. So maybe an opportunity for a spring training trade here, but for my Padres fans, I hope it doesn't happen. I hope that this Nick Pivetta signing is just a propellant, a catapult into a more competitive mindset for this upcoming season for the San Diego Padres. Because look, I like Padres and Dodger games. I can like that as a Blue Jay fan, right? As just a fan of baseball. When the Padres and the Dodgers get together and they're both competitive, it's more fun. So give me more of that. That's good for baseball. So let's see. I'm hoping that the San Diego Padres can work this out. Hold on to Dylan Cease. You get Nick Pivetta. You have a better rotation, and you can go and compete. What do you think? Comment down below on the Padres situation. Is there a trade looming? Did Nick Pivetta make a huge mistake? Did the San Diego Padres just come through with one of the coups of the offseason, which I guess technically it's not the offseason anymore because teams have reported? So the coup of spring training? I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. All right, guys. With that, I'm going to head out of here. But to my 100 club, that makes it all the way to the end of these videos. Thank you for hanging in for this whole thing. I feel like I did a lot of rambling. The gears are turning. The gears are turning, and that's how we get to that point. But I do appreciate you guys coming in again and making it all the way to the end. It does amazing things for the algorithm. Like Mob, make sure to get your likes in because we are all done. Help us boost that number. The likes, the comments, the time spent watching, they all do wonderful, phenomenal things for YouTube and how they promote the video. So thank you guys for helping drive this video through to some potential new viewers. All right, guys, I am out of here. Ballcap Nation, I salute you. Thank you guys for coming in and watching my reaction to the Nick Pivetta signing. Make sure to, again, hit that like on the way out. And remember, if it's low, let it go. And if it's high, let it fly. I'll catch you next time.